increasing number of articles circulating, both in traditional print and social media, that focus on gender roles, specifically the way kids play gender roles. That there's certain toys that are for boys, certain toys that are for girls, and this is something that society forces on kids that leads them in a certain direction or pushes them into a certain direction that might not be the right one for them. I'd like to think I don't do that to my kids, that I let them choose their own play. I think if I do subconsciously push them to one direction or another, it's towards Lincoln Logs and Legos and not towards, Polly Pocket and Easy Bake Oven. Not that they shouldn't learn to cook. Every kid should learn to cook. But I pay attention to the types of games they're playing, especially their imagination games. And I have to say, overall, I've been impressed with the variety of things they pretend to be. They do play Monster High quite a bit. It's a series of dolls that are all based on famous monsters. Characters are the kids of these famous monsters, and there's dolls and shows and videos and books and everything else. And while it's a little bit girly, it's not as girly as, say, Barbie. And while the body image of these monsters is not realistic, I'm kind of okay with that because, well, they're monsters. But the girls like to actually pretend being the different Monster High characters and will play act different scenarios that are frequent in the videos and books. Another game that they like to play is Goddesses, where they're each a goddess and they have certain powers over nature, and there's a big focus on helping the earth and helping plants and animals. Then another variation of that one is fairies, where they have, again, nature-based powers. It's basically the same thing as goddesses, but with wings. And they defend the earth and help nature, and it seems like there's been some pretty epic battles fought in these games. So that's kind of interesting. It has a solid environmental message to it. An example of some of the non-traditional imagination play that they engage in is Scientist, where they are biologists that are off to discover new species of plants and animals. Another example is they play forensic scientist, and I do watch a lot of NCIS, and so they have gotten to know the character Abby pretty well. And they like to pretend to be Abby, and they have their lab, and they solve crimes and find evidence and figure out what the evidence is telling them. So that's pretty cool. Another one that they've been doing recently is playing pilot in the car. So when I'm backing up, they give a countdown to takeoff. Little sweetie finally stopped calling it blasting off. We said that's what rockets do, not what planes do. So they count down to takeoff. And so that's when I'm backing out of the parking space. And then when I start pulling forward, that's takeoff. And then they talk about how food and drinks will be coming around soon. And Big Sweetie is usually the pilot. Little Sweetie is the flight attendant and substitute pilot for when the regular pilot needs to take a break. And recently, when they've been playing pilot, it's taken on a very Airplane the movie kind of feel, where things are just going ridiculously wrong and the solutions to it are ridiculously simple. The other day there was a crack in the wing and then a crack in the other wing, and then both wings fell off, and this is all mid-flight. But luckily there's a button that you can push on the emergency panel that gives you temporary wings that last for 20 minutes. So that was the solution to that problem. Another game that they like to play at the beach is Archaeologist, where they'll dig up ruins and find artifacts and come up with theories about the people that used to live there. So they'll actually create ruins with rocks and then bury them and then dig them up. They also do detective, and it's a very Scooby-Doo style detective work, where they go running all over the place, creating hypotheses about what actually happened and who the bad guy is, and then solving the mystery. And wouldn't you know, their hypothesis is always correct. And then a perennial favorite for the two of them for the past about 4 or 5 years has been superheroes. And of course, little sweetie is always Wonder Woman. Well, thanks for joining me for Mom Monday. I'll see you tomorrow for Teacher Tuesday. Bye.